Okay, so this video is nothing you haven't heard before. Like most of my videos, it's nothing you haven't heard before, but I think it's worth repeating. Um, it's a popular philosophy in the liberal tradition, and that is a simple equation that any idiot should be able to comprehend at its most basic level, and that is that the simple equation is infinite growth plus finite resources equals guaranteed disaster. Um, this I'm basically making this video because I watched a conservative member of Congress on the Daily Show talking about how we need to grow our way out of our bad economic situation, and this is the most popular answer given by people who are of the free market conservative ideology, which is that we need to grow our economy in order to get out of the trouble we're in. But there is a problem with this, and that is that as we're seeing now, there are significant downsides to infinite growth. One of those downsides is environmental degradation. Now, people might say, oh, well, we can come up with ways to minimize the damage we do to the environment with certain technologies. And to that I'd say that's all well and good, except that's not what's happening right now. It seems as if, for one, all the green energy technologies still require a significant fossil fuel input to be feasible at this point. It's not to say that can't change down the road, but as of yet, they don't seem to be able to adequately provide the energy we need to run society as it's being run today. I'm not saying that can't change, but you look at the history of our innovation, it seems like most of our most recent innovation comes out of using fossil fuels. There's always some amount of fossil fuels required in the innovation. And there will be a time when we won't have access to those fuels. And the question is, will the alternative energies be at a point then that they can pick up the slack? And right now we're so far from that being the case that it looks doubtful to me, especially considering that most of the world's oil fields are already in decline. I mean, I do believe in peak oil. I've already talked about that several times. But this is the essential sort of problem here, is that we have not ever had a period of growth that didn't have a detrimental effect on the environment. And it's not just global warming, which, some people think, it is a complex system, climatology, the world's climate, and it's hard to say how much effect we're having, but most of the world's scientists agree that we are having a detrimental effect on the global climate, and that will result in devastating losses down the road when our coastal cities start to flood and the farm bans change, agriculture bans change. Most people, in face of those kinds of arguments, like to say, "Oh, well, human beings are very adaptable." But the real question is, do we want to adapt to that kind of change? Because maybe we'll have to in the long run, but it seems as if our actions are forcing us to adapt sooner rather than later. And there is some question about how fast we can adapt to a rapid change, which I think we could be causing. But basically, in the long run, it really just comes down to there are only so many resources, and in order for industry to operate, we have to continue to mine resources from the ground, mine it, or pump it out, or pump water and chemicals down there to get it. And there's all kinds of things we're extracting from the earth all the time. And it's silly to think that it's a good long-term plan to just continually dig things out of the ground and either spew them into the air or create items that are temporarily usable and then become waste. That does not work. Now, if I could be, if industry could prove to me that we could have a continually, infinitely growing economy based on a sustainable reuse of all those materials that we've already dug out of the ground, then maybe I would give some credence to the idea of infinite growth. But that isn't the case. It's never been the case, and there really is no successful working model of a 100% sustainable, 100% recycled resource base. And until that happens, I remain doubtful that that is a possible concept. And really, the powers that be are not making no effort to move us in that direction. The people that are talking about infinite growth don't seem to have a lot of interest in making the necessary investments required to ensure a sustainable system of growth. They just want to continue to invest in mining resources from the earth indefinitely. And I'm sorry, but until I'm shown proof that we can have a continually, infinitely growing economy without having to do that, then they don't have a leg to stand on. I've been using this leg to stand on phrase quite a bit lately. Anyway, but now if you ask me, what needs to be done is we need to just find a way to make a mutual agreement to slow our growth, to reuse the things we have, do more refurbishing, less creating new products, find innovative ways to recycle the things we have so that we don't have to continue to dig things out of the ground, create a new economy based around sustainability, and one that only grows as fast as the resources we draw from can be reasonably replenished. Or maybe we find ways to just reuse the resources that have already been extracted, and only those resources. Until we come up with a system that can do that, I'm doubtful that humanity as a species has much of a future. So the bottom line is, for those people who say that growth is the only way out of our problems and that infinite growth is the ultimate panacea for our problems, it's a lie. You people are ignoring reality. You're living in a fantasy land where we never pay the consequences for our actions, and you need to think about this and realize the path we're on before we get to a point where we are no longer in a position where we can do anything about the consequences of our actions. We'll just have to sit in the mess we've created, and that is not going to be pleasant for anyone.